Up for air when I act like I don't care. When I pretend you're not even there. When I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up for air. When I act like I don't care, I pretend you're not even there. But I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up. So don't judge me on all the things I do. 'Cause down in my heart, I do them for you. And I won't blame you for falling in love. If we fall too fast, we'll never, ever, ever, ever last. It'll never last. It'll never last. I'm only coming up for air when I act like I don't care. When I pretend you're not even there. When I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up for air. When I act like I don't care. When I pretend you're not even there. When I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up. And I won't judge you on all the things I see. I pray to the stars, you're thinking of me. And don't blame me for falling in love. But if we fall too fast, it'll never, ever, ever, ever last. Never, ever last. Never, ever So don't judge me, and I won't judge you. And don't judge me, and I won't judge you. So don't judge, and don't judge me, and I won't judge you. I won't judge you. I'm coming up for air. When I act like I don't care. When I pretend you're not even there. When I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up for air. When I act like I don't care. I pretend you're not even there. But I'm only coming up, I'm only coming up. And I won't judge you on all the things I see. I pray to the stars, you're thinking of me. And don't blame me for last. It'll never ever last. It'll never ever last. It's like floating in a place with no light. Nothing makes much sense to me, but this is my highlight. All the good times in the years have rolled by. The memories I've with me all the human being. Why can't things be like they were then? Well, I guess they'll never be that way again. And I don't know why I hardly keep in touch. It's probably because up and down my spine as I remember all those good times. Every now and then I wonder, every now and then I wonder, every now and then I every now and then I wonder. All right, my name's Brian Hill, and I'm on the NC Songsmiths tour this week. This is the week of April 7th to the 13th of 2019, and this is a little song I wrote called Too Many Moons. Choked in the valley, searching for a plateau where we could see on the level and try not to let go. Discover each other in a different light, to see everything clearer with our future in sight. But too many moons passed overhead. Now only your shadow remains in my bed. I'm scanning the landscape, but there are fences afar. We'll be better off one day when we know who we are. We're choking this desert where everything is bone dry, and the sand whips our faces as the sun burns our eyes. Too many moons have passed overhead. Now only your shadow remains in my bed. Her face is melting on a distant plateau. To meet in the future means I'll have to let go of you. Sitting by this old oak tree, have all my feelings abandoned me. Looking back to when I was young, could I feel, or was my body numb? I can't feel glad, sad or mean. I think and feel like I'm a machine. It doesn't matter if I agree, as I sit by this old oak tree, have my feelings left me. And too many moons have passed overhead. Now only your shadow remains in my bed. Her face is melting on a distant plateau. To meet in the future means I'll have to let go of you, of you. Only your shadow is cast on my bed. Too many moons. All right, well, my name is Brian Hill, and I'm on the NC Songsmiths tour. I'm happy to be here in Motown Studios, Morganton, North Carolina, and I'm going to do a little solo song of mine. It's like an original song called Moment of Clarity. Just because I'm down, I won't sit and wonder how to turn this thing around. I'll show you what I'm made of and prove to you you're wrong. It's clear you only love me till something different comes along. I know we don't have too much. All we have is love. Loving me ain't easy. Body push it ever come to shove. I make it all back up to you. I fight for all of our time. You'd have to worry. And making love go beyond our mind. In this moment of clarity, the gray skies have turned clear. In this moment of clarity, nothing interferes. In this moment of clarity, the gray skies turn clear. Don't look down. You might just realize there's no one looking up to see you sitting on your high horse. You ride over the wealth of love you feel above. It's time to lift your chin up. It's time to lift your grin up. Where is all the zen that you've been talking about? It's time to take some action and beat down all distraction and get back all the time that you've been searching around. It's time to get a move on, a passion and a groove on. Everything was clearer when you reach deep inside. 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 In this moment of clarity, the gray skies have turned clear.
Hi, welcome back to Motown Studios. Today in the studio we have a special guest, part of the North Carolina Singer-Songsmith series, a good friend of mine, Mr. Hill. How you doing today?
I'm doing just fine.
Excellent, excellent. So let's talk about some of your influences and places you played.
Well, I was lucky enough, my band was just successful enough to be able to do the whole, touring in the U.S. thing for a while, and then when it's kind of over in the U.S. scene-wise, whatever, somehow Europe picks up on it.
Sure.
And then it was getting quite good over there, and so we ended up doing a lot of touring over there, and about 15 different countries surrounding Germany. We were, doing regular tours, and from 2000 on, we were pretty much focused mostly on Europe.
Nice.
Still do some U.S. dates, but not tons.
Sure.
And then in more recent years here, I've been touring solo with the Loop Station, and usually supporting my friend Conrad Kuchenmeister, who is a German loop station artist who's quite popular over there.
Sure.
And so I go and open up for his tour sometimes in Germany, and then I bring him here to the U.S. and my booking agency, Echo Mix Artists, will book him like a month-long tour when he comes, or 20 days or whatever, and we usually knock out a bunch of Outer Banks states, and or go from like New York to Miami, and we'll hit North Carolina, kind of swoop through the state, and do a lot of that since I'm from here.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been a good run. The band Regatta 69 that I come from, we toured in the U.S. like mad people, like all through the 90s, you know, from later half of the 90s, like 94, 95 on. And then from there, like I said, we went over to Europe, and so we did maybe, I don't know, maybe 1,500 shows in the U.S. during that time, and then we did about 450 shows over in Europe.
Wow.
And we got to go to South Africa and tour down there once.
Nice.
That was really cool.
Oh, I bet that was.
So yeah, and so in that way, yeah, as far as playing live and where I've played, those are the places. And we've recorded a bunch of albums and put them out on different independent labels and all
Sure.
that. Yeah.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So in your time in Germany, how's your German? Did you able to pick up any German?
This is
Fine.
funny because all my friends, anybody who sees this is gonna be like, no.
No.
The drunker I get, the more German I try to speak.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, that's like me with Swahili.
Boy. Yeah.
Nah, ich
I mean,
spreche
I'm just
die
not-
Deutsche Kleine. I'm not
nice.
big on German, man. I know a little bit from back in school. I could probably get away with
Right.
some. I could survive, but I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's different when you're in the wild and. You know.
Yeah, I think they're not so open to people not speaking it correct.
Sure.
You know, which is the difference where I think they can get away with English in a lot of cases where it's not so perfect or whatever, but we're just used to that, especially in the U.S. with all the different cultures mixing together. And
Absolutely, and I think they're bilingual in like elementary school and stuff. Too.
oh yeah. I mean, just you know, their schooling's great, and they're brilliant on top of that. Most of them. You know?
Wow.
So, yeah.
Well, I missed engineering school. So
Right.
tell me a little bit about the NC Songsmiths organization.
Well, it was started by a good friend of mine named Bob Funk, F-U-N-C-K.
Nice.
If you want to look him up. And
He must have been a bass player.
He's an awesome singer-songwriter.
Okay.
I was a bass player
Okay.
in all the reggae and ska stuff. And even with Bob, I've toured with Bob under the NC Songsmiths flag when we first kind of invented this whole thing. And yeah, I was playing mostly bass lines and things like that. Sometimes even on another acoustic guitar, I would follow along and do more of the bass parts and little lines and runs and stuff. And I might cover the chords while he's soloing or something like that. But and we sing in harmony, and we did a thing called Funkin' Hill, and we went across the country as the North Carolina Songsmiths, and did all the way. Actually, started in San Francisco, and we did all the way from California home,
Cool.
booking ourselves from the road, from the car, and we had the tiniest American car ever made. It's like this little thing called the Aveo, and
I know what you mean.
Aveo hatchback, and I had a trailer attached to it
Wow.
because you couldn't even fit an amplifier or anything in
My
the car.
gosh.
It's so small.
Wow.
But we had a trailer attached to it, and we drug that all the way across the country, booking the shows from the passenger seat of the car, just
Nice.
calling people and yelping, the next city and seeing where they might have live music or something. And
So let me ask you this, and I know, like, for people that have thought about like this kind of thing, especially our fellow musicians out here. So where do you get? I mean, this sounds funny, but like that's a very brave thing to do. Like it takes a lot of gumption, a lot of chutzpah
I'll
to
tell you
make
what.
this happen. Chutzpah to make this happen.
Oh, nice. I'll tell you what, it really came from another NC Songsmith who was around when Bob and I had the original concept for all of this, and I think at one point he was planning on going cross country with us, but he had just done all that on his own.
Sure.
And I hadn't really heard of people doing this before because I come from, taking 7 guys out with a horn section and everything in a big bus.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
traveling across the country. So
Sure.
everything has to be pretty organized.
Absolutely. Everybody's got to
At
eat.
least the dates have to be set up.
Yes.
Like I'm not always good about planning a place to stay for everyone, but I'm known for
That's
that.
what the Aveo's
but-
for.
right. And Bob and I definitely slept in the car
Sure,
a lot
sure.
of nights on that tour. But yeah, so in the case with the band, you have to organize everything ahead of time. Whereas with this little NC Songsmith tour, Bob and I just really took the inspiration from Spencer Scholes, who's another amazing North Carolina songsmith, and he had just come back from. He really just went across country in the way that like he would go to a town and just sometimes even end up with a little job in the town for like a couple weeks and play a bunch of dates, like play all the bars in town or whatever, and make a bunch of connections, whatever, and then he would move on to another town and get to know that town real well. And he was kind of making these spots, and we even used some of his contacts. Like we would call him from like Flagstaff, Arizona, and he'd be like, "Oh, go hit up this guy. You know, he's got a cool house to stay in." And da-da-da-da. And then we end up playing a house concert there, and like it turns into this big thing.
Cool.
And so we had such a great time. It was an interesting tour because we had the car company Lyft. It's like Uber, but it's the competitor to Uber. And I was driving for Lyft in North Carolina right before we left for the tour. And so at some point got this idea that why don't I drive into different cities across the country to also help pay our way. And so the money would go directly into my bank account for each night I drive.
Sure.
So Bob and I would play a show, and when we get done and everything, we'd pack up the trailer and everything, and then we would disconnect the trailer, park it somewhere, lock it up, and then I'd drop Bob off at a bar or whatever, and then I would go drive Lyft and take people home from the bars at night at like 1 o'clock on in the morning till like 3 a.m.
Nice.
and make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And then we'd be off the next day, or we'd go sleep somewhere, and then be off to the next city the next day.
Wow.
And to start the whole tour off and raise money to get ready to go across country, so we didn't. So it wasn't so terrifying.
Sure, yeah. Your pants.
We had some money in the bank because I did, I think, 96 rides in San Francisco before we left for the trip. So
okay.
I was like buzzing around there just trying to earn as much as I could,
Sure.
And then in that I was calling the Lyft car company all the time because they don't really do well with phone calls. All these internet companies or whatever, there's like really no human being to talk to at these places.
Welcome to the digital economy.
Exactly, yeah. Somehow they operate without human beings. But I finally got a hold of the marketing device. I sent email after email to to the emergency line, to everything, everywhere I could send any
Someone
kind of email.
call me now.
Right, and told them what I was doing. And we were the first people to do that sort of thing. And then their PR department thought it was an amazing idea, and they called me back, and they thought it was wonderful, and they wanted us to write a story about it, and they were going to submit it to Rolling Stone and to all this stuff. And
very cool.
So, yeah, they were excited. And then the funny thing was, 2 cities later, I get a call from the Lyft car company that says, we see that you're driving in different cities, and this is not allowed. You're only allowed to drive in a city that you're registered in, which was back in North Carolina.
Right.
I had already done 96 rides in San Francisco, and I'm driving by, I think by the time we got to Phoenix, Arizona, we get this call, and they're basically shutting down my account.
So,
wow. I'm like, but I'm working for your PR. Your PR department's completely excited about what we're doing.
Yeah.
They're all mixed up within their own company.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
So anyways, they ended up not shutting me down, and I did drive different cities across the country. They kind of let us slip by, and then we were collecting this article. But the cool part about the article was that it allowed us to call ahead to all these different tourist attractions. And I promised Bob when I took him cross country, I just love his songwriting. He's an amazing artist, and I helped record him and do some videos and stuff back in North Carolina for leading up to this tour. Over about a 1.5 to 2 year period, we worked pretty hard on some recordings and things. And so I told him, if we go cross country, this is going to be your hurrah. We're just going to go and see all the tourist attractions. Since only 2 of us, we can manage to, make all this happen. And
Sure.
It just happened that the Lyft article that they were going to submit to all these things allowed us to be able to call places and say, look, we're writing an article for the Lyft Car Company and Rolling Stone magazine. It's going to be submitted to all these places. And, can you get us into Universal Studios on the VIP passes?
Yeah.
They lined up all this stuff
Nice.
for us. So we called ahead to all these different, we got a personal tour of the book depository building where Oswald shot Kennedy,
Wow.
all this kind of stuff, like these big tourist attractions. We went to the crater that's like a mile, wide.
Meteor crater in Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona,
absolutely, yeah.
We went there
Cool.
and have great shots and the Grand Canyon and all, we just went and saw everything we could see.
So you just kind of shoehorned in.
We even got a personal tour after hours of the Pensacola Air Museum, 2 48,000 square foot buildings with all restored aircraft.
Wow.
We're sitting in the cockpits as Blue
Yes.
Angel jets.
Oh,
And
that's
all,
awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was a blast.
Yeah, that sounds
we
amazing.
had a great time.
Yeah, that's
and
wow.
every day was a complete adventure with us.
That's amazing, man. And that's cool that you're able to pull it off and then just continue to just keep rocking, man. You know?
We played like 46 shows across the U.S. calling from the car just to the next town. Like sometimes we didn't even have a gig until 20 minutes before we're on the highway, like seeing the exits for the city that we're going to already. And then finally someone says yes, and we're like, yes. And we get like,
nice.
Whatever, dinner, sometimes a little bit of money, or
Sure.
the owner would come over and put a big tip in the tip jar or whatever. And it went pretty well considering.
That's
you know?
wild. And so with this Lyft situation, so you were essentially bound to where your driver's license is from. That was your
That's what they were
target
saying.
area or whatever.
Yeah.
I see.
Well,
I see.
where you register for the.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they come and inspect your car and all that. They have like
Right.
a representative come meet you, and so they wanted me to only be driving in North Carolina. But
Sure.
anyways,
Crazy. Wow. What a wild story, man.
but that started the NC Songsmith. So, and then we did some showcases back in the Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill area, and we had like Tom Maxwell from the Squirrel Nut Zippers, and we had Duncan Webster from Hammer No More the Fingers, and Django Haskins from Old Ceremony, and then Bob. And what it would do is we kind of made a music in a round situation where they would each play 3 or 4 songs of their own, and then at the end, after each one did their little mini set, they would come on stage together, and they've never heard each other's tunes, but they're all such great musicians, and they just use whatever their specialty and their talent is or whatever, and you learn the lyrics from the other guys, you're on the stage and everything, and it's like a kind of an all-star jam.
Cool.
And by the end of the shows, like they're harmonizing with each other on these like emotional choruses and all this like cool stuff, Yeah,
that's almost like Grateful Dead or something almost.
It was very cool, and the crowd was super excited about it, and it built our confidence up to be like, okay, this could really be something that we try to repeat and do a bunch of times. And so Bob had a bunch of these showcases kind of going on in Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, and then I came out to Western North Carolina about just over a year ago, and I partnered up with Christina Chandler, and she and I started basically the agency I'd already started in a kind of not so serious way, but I was booking these like New York to Miami tours for reggae artists and loopers and things like that. And we decided, well, we wanted to do a singer-songwriter series out in Western North Carolina, and we were already working on it for a couple of weeks, and I'd kind of forgotten about how the NC Songsmiths could really tie in. And then eventually I was like, wait a second, I got this whole thing, it's all branded, and we already have a bunch of artists that are kind of involved with it, and since we want to do the songwriter circuit, why don't we combine the two and make it the NC Songsmiths tour series? And so what we have right now is we have 8 venues in 1 week for a touring artist. So you have, whatever, Tina from Tina and Her Pony will hop on the tour, and she starts on Sunday in Hickory, and then Monday at the local in Boone, and then, Tuesday it's at Madco Brewing in Marshall, North Carolina, and then it just goes on through the week like that. Every day there's already a show set up that's a weekly thing. So for the people coming to the venue, every week they can come out as like a date night, and they can see all these songwriters from North Carolina just rotate through the tour. And we have about 40 different ones.
That's really cool. I love that. I love that. Now, are you guys the one that, do you do that at on Fridays at Catawba Valley Brewery?
No, it was Thursdays there at Catawba
It was
Brewing.
Thursdays, okay.
Yeah, and we ended up moving it to Brown Mountain Bottle Works. It's now Thursday nights.
Okay.
So
that's a shout out to you Morgan people, so go check that out, okay?
Morganton, North Carolina. It's every Thursday night from 7 to 9. It's actually, we probably start at 7:30, go to 9:30 after the tap takeover at Brown Mountain Bottle Works.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Man, that's really cool, and I'm super excited that you've got something like that going on, man. And like I said, once again, if there's anything we can do to be of any service to you, just let us know. So let's talk about your band and where people can get your music.
Yeah, my band is called Regatta 69. It's like the boat race with the number 69 on the boat. And we have, I think total we have like 12 albums out, but I think only 7 of them are available digitally. So, but if you pop on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever, you can get, a bunch of the releases, the ones that came out on different labels and things are available digitally. And the last one, the latest one, is called The Aim's the Way. It was we did a Pirates, Reggae, and Rum tour over in Europe, and we did 29 shows in a row with Dr. Ring Ding, King Django, Chris Murray, Mother Nature, different artists, and we were their backing band, and we played our own show.
Wow.
It was like some nights it approached a 4-hour concert of reggae, ska, and rock steady, and even a little bit of hip hop.
Cool.
It was badass.
Yeah.
We had a great time, and
Awesome.
so from that, alongside of that, Regatta 69 released an album that was kind of a pirate themed album, and it has a bunch of great tunes, like kind of ranging from punk rock to ska to reggae and to dub music. There's even some like bonus
Wow.
tracks that are remixes of the songs where we dub them up and digitally remix them and everything.
Sure.
And yeah.
How cool, especially being here close to the Outer Banks, you know, the Edward Teach
Oh
saga and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
Actually, we play on Ocracoke Island.
Ocracoke,
right? Yeah,
awesome,
we
yeah.
walk out to where Blackbeard was beheaded and all
Yeah,
that, and like
wow.
they got the luminescent water there, and
man.
go skinny dipping.
Yeah, well. That's awesome, man. That sounds like an awesome time, man.
Right.
So, well, let's see. I guess we're probably getting ready to run short on time. Let's talk. So, ncsongsmiths.org.
Yes, that's right. ncsongsmiths.org is where you can find. There's a click through from there. You can read about it, see some of the faces of people who are involved with it. Just to name a few, just to give you an idea of the quality, we have Ashley Heath, we have Andrew Scotchy from Andrew Scotchy and the River Rats, we have Noah Proudfoot from Noah Proudfoot and the Botanicals, Laura Blackley, just a whole slew of great artists. A lot of them are from Western North Carolina, but we've had guys as far away as the Outer Banks come out and
Wow.
do the tour,
Well,
so
that's awesome. man.
blues guys, Ryan Roots is on it, different singer-songwriters, and like I'm doing the loop station thing, doing reggae music, so it ranges in the style of the music, but the idea is that everybody on the tour has written the songs that they're performing, so you're hearing them right from the original artist.
That's awesome.
Even though their band might do a version of it or whatever,
Sure.
you're just hearing them by themselves,
That's awesome.
out of the comfort of their band.
That's super cool. Now, you guys do social media?
We do. So when you go to the ncsongsmiths.org, there's a click through, and it'll bring up our Facebook site, which we keep updated with every week of who the next artist is coming up. So
Great.
you see all the artwork and photographs, and get links through to their music. And
Great.
Yeah.
And so that means everybody go over there, check out, their Facebook, get on there, subscribe,
right,
check
yeah.
them out. You guys are privileged to have something this awesome in your backyards.
it's been a lot of work, man.
I
Oh my
bet.
God, you have to organize this.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like-
I couldn't imagine, man. I know.
I think we're up to 40 artists, and it's been, I think, over 270 shows since June 3rd of last year
That's
that
amazing.
we booked.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Wow, that's
Yeah.
super awesome. Yeah, I'm lucky to get matching socks on in the morning.
Well, me too. And new socks.
New socks, yes, definitely.
Freshly washed ones. That's more my problem.
Well, man, I super appreciate you coming and jamming with us. And shout out to Morgan Jeter. She had to leave
Yes.
before the interview, but she's a local hero here out in Morganton as well.
That's right.
Yeah, so super good luck, man. If you guys check out NC Songsmiths, and and I think unless there's anything else you'd like to plug.
I think we're good, man.
Well, I appreciate-
Motown Studios.
Oh yeah, well there you go.
In
Thanks.
Morganton.
Yep. Come check us out on Facebook and YouTube. And Brian, thanks for joining us, and
course.
I appreciate the performance. I'm sure everybody here in Morganton and the World Wide Web appreciates it as well.
Awesome.
And until next time, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Toodaloo.
Hi, thanks for watching Motown Studios. Be sure to check back with us for brand new content every week. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to share and tell all your friends that the best content on the internet is coming out of Morganton, North Carolina, Motown Studios. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much.
Every now and then I wonder